Hey everyone, Rich here from Top5.com. Now everyone knows all of the cool places you can visit in Washington D.C. Of course you have the Capitol, the Lincoln Memorial, the Washington Monument, all of the famous museums like the Smithsonian, and all the cool places in and around the National Mall in Washington D.C. Now I thought I'd put together a video that showcases some of the secondary places that you can visit when you're in or around Washington D.C. Now some of these places are free to get in, some do charge a small admission fee, so let's check out my top 5 places to visit in Washington D.C. that may not be on everyone's radar. Be sure to check out the video description where I'll have links to each of these places. Number 5 is the Smithsonian's National Zoo. This is set in the heart of Washington, D.C., right up Connecticut Avenue. This thing is right in the middle of a bustling city. Now, the zoo does not charge admission. It is completely free to get in. Now, what is not included is parking. The parking is very limited in the downtown D.C. area, so you may have to use an app called ParkWiz to find a parking location. With that, you have cool places inside the zoo to visit, including some indoor areas that'll get you out of the elements if it happens to be hot, happens to be cold, maybe if there's snow on the ground, and you get to see all the cool animals that the zoo has to offer. Now this is a state-of-the-art zoo, so it's going to have pretty much everything you'd think of that the National Smithsonian Zoo should have. Be sure to check out the zoo's calendar of events, where it'll have different events like the Fast and Fierce 5K, the Zoo Fiesta, or even a wine tasting in the zoo. Now there's other sleepover events like the Snore and Roar sleepover for both adults and or families. Number 4 is the Vietnam and Korean memorials. Now these are set in the heart of the National Mall in Washington D.C. and they're 100% free to get into. You basically walk through them and admire all of the fallen warriors over the years for those two wars. These are set adjacent on either side of the Lincoln Memorial and pay tribute to all of those warriors. Now, of course, this is a solemn place, and you do want to keep your composure while visiting these two memorials. It's an honor to see all of the names on the wall of the Vietnam Memorial, and of course, all of the statues in the Korean Memorial pay tribute to exactly what those warriors were going through. Both of these memorials are an easy walking distance from either the Lincoln Memorial or the Washington Monument. Number 3 is Arlington National Cemetery. Now this of course is based in Virginia, but it's right across the Potomac River on the other side of the National Mall. Pretty much a 15-minute drive from the center of DC depending on the time you're traveling. Now of course this is a pay to get into type of place, but the fees are going towards a tram ride. You do get to ride a tram throughout the cemetery, visiting the different areas of the cemetery. One of which is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, which you get to watch the changing of the guard every 30 minutes. It's a cool thing to see the military pomp and circumstance that goes on there to protect the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The tomb is guarded 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and in any weather conditions. You do have memorials for John and Jackie Kennedy, and also a space shuttle and Iran hostage rescuer memorial. Now my favorite of all of them in Arlington is the Iwo Jima Memorial, or the Marine Corps Memorial. This is set right outside the gates of Arlington, but it's just a quick little stroll to get to this massive monument outlooking the Washington Monument. This is a cool place here. I definitely liked seeing the Iwo Jima Memorial, and it was very nice. Number 2 is Mount Vernon, Virginia. This, of course, is George Washington's home and set on the very picturesque Potomac River. This is a beautiful place to visit. The complete grounds of Mount Vernon is so beautiful. Now there is a small entrance fee to get in to check it out, but it comes with a free complimentary tour of the house. So you actually get to walk through the house and check it out. Now throughout the grounds, you do get to see the different portions of the estate, including the kitchen, the stables, the garage, the blacksmith shop, and the original tomb of George Washington that was later moved to the final resting place of both George Washington and Martha Washington, which are buried on site there. My number one place to visit in Washington, D.C. is the Washington National Cathedral. Now this is a great example of a modern cathedral. It is the second largest in the U.S. and the sixth largest in the world. This was started in the early 1900s and it finished construction in about the 1980s. This thing is just massive to see, and there is a small entrance fee to get into the cathedral, but it does come with a complimentary tour, and I definitely suggest going on that tour. It is giving you the insight of all of the different main cathedral and of course some of the smaller chapels. There is an underground section of this cathedral that houses several small chapels, and it takes you through the story and how this place was created. Now, of course, you do have some heritage here. Of course, George Washington has a small monument here. You also have Woodrow Wilson that was actually buried here in the cathedral. So pretty cool heritage throughout. You get to see all of the ornate woodwork and all the different artists that lended their talent to making this cathedral great. The Washington Cathedral was set at the highest elevation point in Washington, D.C. Therefore, if you go up to the 7th level viewing area, you can see all into Washington, including the Washington Monument, and you practically have a 360-degree view around the city. Well everyone, that is my top 5 places to visit if you're in or around the Washington, D.C. area that's outside of the norm. If you haven't already done so, please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out more interesting videos here at Top 5.